Imagine for a second that somewhere in the world, there's a car factory where engineers are building a vehicle that costs almost $1 million. And it isn't a Rolls-Royce, it isn't a Bentley, it isn't Italian, it isn't German, and it most certainly is not British. This machine rolls off a production line in Changchun, China. It weighs more than 3 tons. It has a hand-painted interior that takes 60 days just to dry. And the hood ornament is angled at exactly 23.5 degrees because that is the precise tilt of the Earth's axis. And before you even ask, no, you cannot buy one. Not because you don't have the money, because China might simply decide you are not important enough. Today, we are talking about 5 of the most extreme, most expensive, and most absurdly luxurious vehicles ever to come out of China. And when I say absurd, I mean one of these things can float on water. And one of them just broke the world record for the fastest production car ever built. This is not some distant future prediction. This is happening right now. Let's start at the absolute peak, the throne, the untouchable, the Hongqi Guoli, formerly known as the Hongqi L5. This is the single most expensive Chinese-made car you can theoretically buy. The price tag starts at approximately $990,000 US. And I say theoretically because Hongqi doesn't just hand this car to anyone who shows up with a briefcase full of cash. This vehicle is effectively China's answer to the Rolls-Royce Phantom. Except in Chinese culture, the Guoli carries a status that even the Phantom cannot touch. Owning a Rolls-Royce means you're rich. Owning a Hongqi Guoli means you are rich, and the Chinese state considers you worthy of its national gift. That's literally what the name means. Guoli, national gift. The dimensions alone tell you this car means business. Nearly 6 meters long, over 2 meters wide, sitting on a 3,730mm wheelbase. It is almost exactly the same length as a Rolls-Royce Phantom Extended, and it weighs 3,150 kilograms. This is a land yacht in every sense. Under the hood is a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8, producing 388 horsepower and 530 newton-meters of torque, paired to an 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive. Now you might hear that horsepower number and think it sounds modest for $1 million car. But the Guoli was never designed to be fast. It was designed to be felt. Every surface inside is wrapped in hand-stitched leather. The center console and door panels use a traditional Chinese lacquerware technique where 28 layers of natural lacquer are applied by hand, then air-dried and polished for 60 days until the surface feels like warm jade under your fingertips. The headlining features Rolls-Royce-style starlight illumination, except Hongqi would never admit to borrowing that idea. There is a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, a 16.2-inch infotainment touchscreen, and an augmented reality head-up display. The rear has a 2+2 seating layout, where each throne has electric adjustment for everything: ventilation, heating, massage, a dedicated control panel in the armrest, and then there's the hood ornament, a retractable, illuminated golden sunflower emblem that rises slowly when you start the car, tilted at exactly 23.5 degrees, pointing toward Polaris, the North Star. Hongqi says this symbolizes Chinese civilization's eternal exploration of the cosmos. And honestly, when you hear that kind of engineering poetry applied to a hood ornament, you start to understand that this is not just a car. This is a cultural statement on wheels. A used Hongqi Guoli recently sold for $1.5 million to a buyer in Dubai, making it the most expensive Chinese car ever exported. Let that sink in for a second. A used Chinese car sold for more than a brand new Rolls-Royce Phantom. In the US market, you will never see one. This car is not built for export. It is not federalized. It is not coming to any Western dealership. And that might be what makes it even more intoxicating. The Hongqi Guoli exists in a universe where Western luxury doesn't even get an invitation. Now let's shift gears from slow and stately to something that will genuinely rearrange your internal organs. The Yangwang U9. If the Guoli is China's Rolls-Royce, the U9 is China's answer to every Italian supercar that ever existed, except it's electric, and it's faster, and it can dance. Yes, literally dance. The Yangwang U9 is a pure battery electric supercar built by BYD under their ultra-luxury sub-brand Yangwang, designed by Wolfgang Egger, the man who previously designed cars for Alfa Romeo, Audi, and Lamborghini. The car was launched in February 2024 and currently starts at around $252,000 after a recent price increase. That is a supercar that produced 1,287 horsepower from 4 independent electric motors, hits 100 kilometers per hour in 2.36 seconds, and can reach a top speed of over 309 kilometers per hour. But the standard U9 is not even the headline anymore. In September 2025, Yangwang unveiled the U9 Extreme, limited to just 30 units worldwide, with 4 motors each producing 555 kilowatts for a combined output of 2,220 kilowatts. That is 2,977 horsepower, from a single production vehicle. The U9 Extreme was tested at Germany's ATP track and achieved an officially certified top speed of 496.22 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest production car on the planet at the time. It also lapped the Nürburgring Nordschleife in 6 minutes and 59 seconds, becoming the first pure electric production vehicle to break the 7-minute barrier. This is not a concept car. This is not a prototype. This is a car you can buy from a brand most Americans have never heard of that is faster than a Bugatti Chiron. The technology underneath is equally insane. BYD's proprietary E4 platform gives each wheel its own motor with independent torque vectoring. The D-Suze X intelligent body control system allows the car to adjust suspension travel by up to 75 millimeters with a single axle lifting speed of 500 millimeters per second. That is enough force to literally make the car jump off the ground. BYD demonstrated this at the launch event, where the U9 performed synchronized bouncing to music, all 4 wheels leaving the pavement in rhythm. It looks absurd, looks like CGI, but it is mechanical reality. The butterfly doors open to a cockpit with a 10.25-inch digital cluster, a 12.3-inch vertical touchscreen, a Donaudio Evidence Platinum 12 speaker audio system, and 127 color ambient lighting setup. The body is carbon fiber. The battery is an 80 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate pack. Dual plug, ultra-fast charging, supports up to 500 kilowatts, and the whole thing sits at just 1,295 millimeters tall, lower than a Lamborghini Huracan. Now let's stay in the Yangwang family, but go from low and aggressive to tall and terrifying. The Yangwang U8. If the U9 is a scalpel, the U8 is a warhammer. This is a full-size luxury off-road SUV with 4 independent electric motors producing a combined 1,180 horsepower and 1,280 newton-meters of torque. It weighs 3,460 kilograms. That is nearly 7,700 pounds, and it hits 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds. A vehicle the size of a small building, accelerating like a sports car. This is engineering witchcraft. But the performance numbers are not even the most ridiculous part. The Yangwang U8 can do a tank turn. All 4 wheels spinning independently in opposite directions, allowing this massive SUV to rotate nearly 360 degrees in place, like a military vehicle on a battlefield. It can wade through water at a maximum depth of 1,000 millimeters. The Off-Road Master Edition, equipped with a snorkel, pushes that to 1,400 millimeters, and if the water gets deeper than the wading limit, the U8 has an emergency flotation mode. The suspension raised to maximum height, the windows close automatically. The air conditioning switches to internal circulation. The petrol engine shuts off, and the sunroof opens as an emergency exit. The vehicle can float for up to 30 minutes and actually propel itself through the water by spinning its wheels at low speed. Let me say that again. This is a production SUV that can float on a lake and drive itself to shore. The powertrain is a series plug-in hybrid. A 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine acts purely as a generator to charge a 49 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery. The electric motors do all the driving. Combined range with a full battery and full tank reaches approximately 1,000 kilometers. pure electric range is around 180 kilometers on the Chinese test cycle. The BYD D-Su's P-active hydraulic suspension provides continuous damping control with up to 150 millimeters of ground clearance adjustment. If the car detects a fast approaching vehicle from behind, the system can automatically lift the body 80 millimeters and activate flashing warning lights. That is a feature you used to only find in armored military vehicles. The interior is pure luxury. 3 rows, 6 passengers, a 23.6-inch driver display, a 12.8-inch central touchscreen, a 23.6-inch passenger display. The armrest has a built-in refrigerator that operates between -5 and 60 degrees Celsius. There's an air suspension, 4-zone climate control, and a tire blowout stabilization system that uses the 4 independent motors to keep the vehicle stable even if a tire fails at high speed. The Yangwang U8 starts at around $150,000. The extended U8L launched in September 2025 with a longer wheelbase, 3-row 6-passenger seating, a vertically split power tailgate, and 24 karat gold badges starts at about $180,000. For context, a similarly equipped Range Rover or Mercedes G-Class would cost you roughly the same or more, and neither of them can float, do a tank turn, or produce anywhere near this level of power. Now let's move to something completely different, something that does not want to intimidate you. It wants to seduce you. The Nio ET9. This is Nio's flagship executive sedan, and it launched in China in early 2025 at a starting price of around $112,000. That puts it squarely in Mercedes Maybach and Porsche Panamera territory. Except the ET9 is not just another luxury sedan. It is the most technologically advanced 4-seat car in the world right now. Start with the chassis. The ET9 is the first production vehicle in the world equipped with a hydraulic fully active suspension system developed in partnership with American company Clear Motion. This system uses electro-hydraulic actuators at each wheel that respond to road conditions within 1 millisecond, not 10 milliseconds. 1. Nio demonstrated this at the car's launch by driving over speed bumps with a tower of champagne glasses on the hood. Not a single glass moved. The system reduces in-cabin motion by approximately 75% compared to any existing technology, and it also features steer-by-wire technology, a first for mass production in China, with a maximum rear-wheel steering angle of 8.3 degrees and a turning diameter of just 10.9 meters. A sedan over 5.3 meters long that turns tighter than some compact cars. The powertrain runs on Nio's global 900-volt electrical architecture, the highest voltage system in Chinese mass production. A rear permanent magnet motor produces 340 kilowatts, and a front induction motor adds 180 kilowatts for a combined output of 520 kilowatts, which is about 707 horsepower. 0 to 100 in 4.1 seconds. Top speed 220 kilometers per hour. The battery is a 100 kilowatt-hour pack using Nio's self-developed cylindrical cells, offering up to 650 kilometers of range on the Chinese test cycle. Peak charging power is 600 kilowatts at 772 amps, enabling 5-minute charges that add 255 kilometers of range. And of course, there is Nio's signature battery swap technology. Drive into a station, 3 minutes later you drive out with a fully charged battery. No waiting, no plugging in, just go. Inside, the ET9 is designed as a first-class cabin on wheels. 4 individual seats wrapped in alpine semi-aniline leather that has been naturally cured over 12 weeks. A 120-inch equivalent augmented reality display projected onto the windshield. A 14.5-inch 3K OLED center display. An 8-inch OLED control panel. A 35-speaker Nio Lyra audio system in an 8248 configuration, delivering 720-degree immersive sound. The rear executive position has a 360-degree adjustable table, a smart refrigerator that operates between -2 and 55 degrees, and a center safe with passcode access. The headrest speakers create a personal sound bubble for each passenger. For autonomous driving, the ET9 carries Nio's self-developed 5-nanometer Hongqi N X9 031 chip. with each of the car's 2 chips surpassing the computing power of Nio's previous system that used 4 NVIDIA Orin X processors combined, 31 sensors including 3 LiDAR units providing 350-degree coverage and 4-dimension millimeter wave radars that measure elevation in addition to the standard 3 dimensions. Finally, we arrive at a vehicle that might be the most dangerous of all, not because of its speed, not because of its price, because of its value proposition, because this one threatens to make every luxury SUV from Europe look like a terrible deal. The AITO M9, built through a deep collaboration between Ceres and Huawei, this is not just a car with some Huawei software sprinkled on top. The AITO M9 is a vehicle where Huawei's full-stack intelligent car technology is the backbone of the entire experience. The cockpit, the driving system, the connectivity, the chassis intelligence, everything. And it starts at approximately $65,000. That is BMW X5 money. Except the M9 is 5,230 millimeters long with a 3,110 millimeter wheelbase. It seats 6 in full Nappa leather, and it has technology that makes a $100,000 German SUV look like it was designed 10 years ago. The numbers speak loudly. More than 236,000 units delivered in under 2 years. It outsells the BMW X7, the Mercedes GLS, and the Range Rover in China. Not by a small margin, by a commanding one. The AITO M9 is the best-selling vehicle in the entire Chinese luxury segment above 500,000 yuan. The tech is where this thing becomes genuinely frightening for the competition. Huawei's ADS4 Advanced Driver Assistance System uses 4 LiDAR sensors, 3 millimeter wave radars, 12 ultrasonic sensors, and 11 cameras to create a perception system so dense that the car can navigate from parking space to parking space almost entirely on its own. The system handles roundabouts, park gates, ramp recognition, uphill and downhill driving, and complex road conditions without driver input. This is not some beta feature you're testing for the company. This is a production-ready system refined across hundreds of thousands of real-world vehicles. The cabin has 3 front screens, a 12.3-inch cluster, a 15.6-inch central display, and a 16-inch passenger display, all running Huawei's Harmony OS. The rear has a 32-inch retractable cinema screen with Dolby Vision support, a 25-speaker Huawei sound system pumping 2,080 watts. The second-row seats offer zero-gravity mode with 75 degrees of electric leg rest adjustment and 8-point back massage. There is Huawei's Galaxy satellite communication system that keeps you connected even when terrestrial networks fail. Smart projection headlights that can display images and videos on the road surface. The AITO M9 comes in 2 powertrain options. The extended range version pairs a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine as a generator with dual electric motors producing 365 kilowatts, giving you a combined range of nearly 1,500 kilometers on a full charge and full tank. That is over 900 miles. The pure electric version uses an 800-volt architecture with dual motors producing 390 kilowatts and a 100 kilowatt-hour battery for up to 630 kilometers of range, 0 to 100 in 4.3 seconds for the EV version. AITO just began deliveries to the UAE through Abu Dhabi Motors' luxury dealership network, making the M9 the first AITO vehicle to be sold outside China. This expansion is significant because in markets like Dubai, buyers have no patriotic loyalty to German or British brands. They buy the best product, period. And the AITO M9 is walking into that arena with technology that is a generation ahead of anything from Munich or Solihull, at a price that would barely cover the options list on a fully loaded Range Rover. 5 vehicles. A $1 million state limousine with a hood ornament pointed at the North Star. A supercar that broke the world speed record and can bounce to music. An SUV that floats on water and spins like a tank. An executive sedan with a suspension so advanced it keeps champagne glasses still over speed bumps. And a tech-loaded luxury SUV outselling every German flagship in the biggest car market on Earth. All of them Chinese. All of them unavailable in the United States. All of them rewriting the rules of what a car can be. The people who still think Chinese cars are cheap knockoffs are not just behind the curve. They are living in a completely different decade. The future of the automobile is not being built in Stuttgart or Detroit or Maranello. It is being built in Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Changchun. And the only question left is whether the rest of the world is going to wake up in time to notice, or whether they will just keep pretending it is not happening until one of these machines shows up in their neighbor's driveway and there is absolutely nothing left to say. Game over.